I'm with Race and Griffin. We're live on Facebook. All I could say is we're in the middle of a hike in Guilford. I believe it's the East Woods. Race, Griffin, and also Race's good friend, Jake, are with us. I listened to the quacking noise. We gotta be quiet. I don't know if you can hear this, but these are wood frogs. The only frog known to be able to be completely frozen and then come back to life without dying. And we got them right here in Connecticut. This is a true sign that New England has basically begun. Race, do you remember we've saved wood frogs crossing at night? Remember we did that before? Can you describe what a wood frog looks like?
They're like light brownish tan, and then around their eyes it's kind of darker brown.
It's almost like a black, isn't it?
Yeah.
Race, his sister Daphne, Ava, and I, for years and years, we would try to save them crossing at night. We're going to try to get some sounds of these, and maybe, if we're lucky, we can even try to capture one, but they're tough to catch. They usually stop if you get too close. They will totally stop if you get too close. I swear to God, it's like somebody turned off the light switch. These guys are the first amphibians to really sense a sign of breeding. Usually you'll see them. Like number one, they'll be the first egg clusters in a vernal pool. By the way, a vernal pool is a temporary water source. It only collects water in the early part of spring, then it dries out in the winter. All the eggs will have usually hatched by then, and they're gone. If I stay low, we have half a chance that they'll continue. Can you guys hear that? Anybody? So basically, these are males vocalizing to attract a female. The girls aren't calling. The girls are like, look, dude, give me a break. But the men, the boys, the males, are calling to try to attract a mate. And they do it. Okay, I can see them moving on the top. Every now and then they'll move. Very difficult to see. But, you know, they're using their vocal sacs. They're vocalizing. I see one swimming. You know, they're gonna move. And they probably will stop shortly. They won't even allow us to get close enough. They just totally stop, like somebody shut the lights off. But the wood frog is an unusual frog. It's actually a sign that this is a really well-preserved area. Once houses and development move into an area, wood frogs boogie. They're gone. They don't like... Oh, there he is right there. He's moving. I just saw him. What's happening is the males are grabbing on top of the females, and that's usually what all the tussling is about. Of course, unless I get in there, it's going to be tough to show you, but we could come back with underwater gear and get in there and try to show you. There he is right there. There he is right there. Right there. This is a wood frog right there. You can see the legs. What happens is the males and the females will hook up, and shortly after, the female will actually deposit this gelatinous. It's like it probably could be 100 to 200 eggs. When they're first laid, they're crystal clear, and you can see right in the black embryos are right inside. And then once that's done, you're gonna watch them over 6 to 8 weeks, and they start hatching out. You can see it wiggling out. They instantly turn into tadpoles, and they start feasting on the organic matter, the leaf litter on the bottom, which we'll get some footage of that later this year. Out there, you can see that. That's breeding activity. They're piling onto each other. Caught me without a tripod, guys, so I can't go long distance without actually kind of being vibrating, but it's too much vibration. But this is an amphibian, basically a vernal pool that will probably also draw in spotted salamanders. They're probably in here, maybe underneath the leaves. Spring peepers, possibly. I'm kind of surprised I don't hear them right now. You would think you would hear them. But I am going to attempt to get a little bit closer here, because this is just it's no. There he is right there. Race and his buddy Jake are quite, oh, there he goes. Okay. Notice they've stopped calling altogether. Somebody vocalized in the back. They just heard a vocals. We're going to mark this spot. We're going to have to come back. Expedition Earth. Stick with it. River. It's like a brook. Cute little. Why would this place not be, or would it be, a place where an amphibian like the wood frog or the spotted salamander would lay their eggs? Why? The answer is not the fact that the water's flowing so fast. Of course, there's slow spots in a river. Not that it's shallow, although, yes, that's partly the reason, because it's shallow. It's because of who else lives in the river. If you're an amphibian and you've survived millions of years, you're not going to lay your eggs in a place where they're going to get predated by fish. The fish are going to whack your eggs. Your offspring ain't going to survive. So you have evolved, and again, this is not a thought process of evolution. This is process of elimination over millions of years, where the ones that survived were only the ones where mom and dad bred in a temporary water source. They didn't breed the ones that bred in a river died. They got eaten. Fish are gonna basically survive, or crustaceans like crayfish. This is where they're gonna go. So it just leads us to the other point is, why do we need these little, again, you can hear people's, that's just gonna breed mosquitoes. I don't want mosquitoes. Well, guess what? Some of those mosquitoes get eaten by the amphibians, and the amphibians are a critical part of the overall food web. So if you think that you need to fill in all the temporary water sources, listen, Just go fill in all the stuff around your house. Take care of that around your house. Leave this stuff alone. Protect this stuff, and you'll have a diverse, well put together ecology that has more than just bullfrogs, more than just green frogs, which is basically what's taken over in a lot of our habitats. Everyone thinks, oh, wow, I saw a turtle. I saw a snapping turtle. Oh, wow, I saw a frog. Yeah, it was a bullfrog. Well, guess what? Those guys, they just outcompeted, and they like to survive around habitat where it's been disturbed. That's all. It's not any indication of how good things are. Folks, it's really an indication of how not so good things are. The spotted salamander, which started crossing just 2 nights ago on Friday night, when some people were out starting up shenanigans on a Friday night and too busy watching the March Madness. Well, they missed it. You missed it. Guys like Chuck Anicelli, he was on it. I was there in spirit. But, 10 o'clock at night here in Connecticut, there was a rainstorm, a nice line that came through. You could have seen spotteds, you could have seen wood frogs, you could have seen all that stuff. But, there's only so much you can do here. You got to do your laundry and get some food every now and then. Anyways, check back. We'll be back with you. We have made it to a beautiful field. I'm sure the wind is blowing out my microphone here. Can we get to the little lookout point, or are we ready to turn back? Turn back. I predicted that answer. So we're turning back. Griffin, Jake, Race, and that other guy. Look at this field over here. Again, you look at the habitat and you wonder, okay, why is this here? Somebody's got to be doing something to keep this here. Look at this. Look at this. The conifers are outlining it. Hey, listen, I don't want to bore you to tears, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of landlocked area. It looks like a remnants of an old farm. It connects all the way towards Nut Plains, on the edge of Guilford, on the edge of the East River. Well, I've got to go a little further. See if those guys will survive without me. I think they'll be fine. This is free of charge. This is a part of the Blue Blaze system. Cockaponset State Forest, or the Guilford Land Trust, Madison Land, all these land trust properties. You got to get out there. You got to check them out. Support those places that are trying to preserve and protect land. Because if you don't, believe me, it's going to turn into another medical office building. It's going to turn into another baseball field. It's going to turn into another strip mall plaza. Okay, I'm going to shut my mouth. I just want you to feel this. And listen, I'm going to run us over to the East River, and then I'm going to shut my mouth. Ready, set, go. Okay, that's as far as I could go with my mouth closed. Look at my Coke bottle glasses. Look at me. I'm a freak of nature. Let's get in here like this. My crew, the 2 boys and the dog, they're steaming their way back to the car. Let me get the hell back to the video games as quickly as humanly possible. So I am kind of out further than they wanted to go. But Expedition Earth, we're starting to do these live posts. I hope, we can actually, get some creatures live. Either, the next rain event, we'll get some amphibians like right up close. It's tough. I don't want to go into that vernal pool and start grabbing the frogs. I know it's impressive. I know I could go in there and grab them. Let them breed. Let's make sure they're done breeding. Everybody mates. All right, and then we'll grab a couple at the end of the season, sometimes later in March or earlier in April. But the bottom line is, amphibians are breeding like mad. Spring is here, whether you think or believe it or not, even though it was in the 20s this morning. This is southern Connecticut, like you may not even realize exists. Okay, we're out of here. So listen, one more thing. I keep saying one more thing, but this, I promise, one more thing. So we're over here right now. I found the boys, by the way. They're safe. They're sound. They're walking with Griffin, but why no amphibian activity over here? Well, A, look at the ice. The water's freaking cold. But B, why is there still ice here and not over on the other one where we saw the wood frogs? If you missed it, we're going to go back to them. I can hear them quacking in the distance. This is too shallow. The wood frog has evolved to figure this out. Do not lay your eggs in something that still has ice in March. Odds are pretty slim they're going to survive. So if your offspring don't survive, you're smart enough to realize, oh my God, let's not get involved in this one. Let's move to another one. And if you do lay your eggs here, you're destined for your DNA to become extinct. They're all going to die. So ice, no good. That's why we're not hearing any of the wood frogs here. It's too shallow. Although I just saw something move. Nope. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Guys, did you notice this? Look at this.
Yeah.
Can anyone tell me what this is? We're looking at a field of rocks. Okay, but how did they get here? What are they?
They fell out of the sky. I don't know.
Seriously, Race?
I don't know.
I'm just asking. Do you have any idea at all? What do you think?
Glaciers? I don't know.
Glaciers. What would shove them all over here? It certainly wasn't a big bulldozer from space. Not all these years ago. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What put all of these boulders? None of these which you could even pick up with a normal excavator. Never mind, a big one. Some of these things are so big. What are you guys thinking? Okay, so a giant, huge wave of ice that was going so slowly. A huge ice formation called a glacier eventually came down here. It stopped. And like a conveyor belt, it's melting. And at the same time that it's melting... Okay, there you go, Donnie. There's other people here. I swear to it. You see, I'm not by myself. I'm not talking to myself. You see, there's other people here. So there's a giant glacier. It stops. And at the same time, at the same rate that the glacier is melting, the glacier is also dropping debris. It's dropping stuff that came from possibly Canada. Who knows how far it came? But all of this is glacial till, is what it is. And huge shards of anything from granite to mostly granite, because that's the stuff that's so hard that kept here. But this is a huge piece of it. Now, some of this you would think maybe it got pushed over here from that field when they cleared it, but there's no way. That's too far. The field is really behind me. You can kind of see it behind me. But that's what it is. We were scraped here. Totally scraped. I believe 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago. Yep. That's what we're talking. Long time ago. And it's all right here. It's covered in lichen. The lichen's eating it alive. Acid all continues to degrade it. Turn it into tiny little specks of inorganic material that then becomes powder. And then what happens, and this is my favorite. I know this might not be too humorous for some of the comedians that might be watching that really don't have any idea what the hell I'm talking about. But what happens is, you don't think of it, but all of this rock will eventually be somehow, some way pulverized or eroded down to sand that eventually will be subducted down into the magma, down to the core. It takes maybe 1 billion years. But there is a cycle, almost like with air temperatures and currents, there's a cycle. Even the very dirt we're standing on will cycle down. It'll get heated, and then maybe it will come back up, or it'll stay down and get compressed, and it'll turn into marble. It'll turn into metamorphic. It'll turn into, eventually, some of this will sedimentary. So there's a cycle on the planet that's happening so slow, you have no idea it's going on. But we are in motion. The rocks, the dirt, the organic material is all in motion. And we're here for a teeny tiny blink of an eye. So you can't. How are you going to have a perspective on it? How are you even going to know what happened? Hey guys, where'd you go? Okay. How are you going to have a perspective? You can't have a perspective. You don't. Unless you actually open up a book and read about it, you're not going to know what happened. People have stuck cores in the ground and they've taken tests and they've done carbon dating. It's the only way you're ever going to know. You can't know otherwise. I'm going to try something a little different here. I don't know whether you can hear me. I'm going to try something different. Let's see if you can hear me better here. So you can't know unless you open a book and attempt to understand what happened here. But we're in a little piece of Guilford loaded with glacial till. I lost the kids. Honey, I lost the kids. Okay, I better go find them. See you guys later. This is a red-backed salamander. Red-backed. It's an amphibian that has actually figured out a way to live without being locked into the water. He has figured out a way to not need that. Right there. He doesn't need a vernal pool. No necesito. He can survive solely up on land. And what's amazing about him is that no matter how much rainfall we get or we don't get, this baby will survive, and it'll probably do well in a warming climate. And that's what's so spectacular about him. He will probably outlive the spotted salamander when it comes to the evolution and the period that this species will survive. The redback salamander is able to lay its eggs up on land. Just hold them gently with one finger. Hold them still with one thumb on the back of them. And just hold them steady for a second. And if you look at them, you may need to go up here, son.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. And just kind of hold
a little hard.
There you go. Just a gentle hold. Just so people could get a good look at him. So he is one of these salamanders that is long and slender, and he can burrow in. He doesn't need water at all. He'll lay a little clutch of eggs, or she will lay her clutch of eggs, and then they'll leave. And I really don't think they stay and guard them. They just let them rip. They let them go. Redback salamander, also seen in a form without the reddish back. We call them leadback salamanders. Starting to just calm down a little bit so you can get a better look at them. But this is one of the species of amphibian that you won't hear about here in southern Connecticut, southern New England, because like I said, it can't bite you. Nobody really, is impressed by it. I have been told that there are more of these than just about anything else here, but because they're fossorial, this one was under that rotten birch tree. That's where we just rolled it, on the side of this vernal area. Which, by the way, we came to the vernal area for what reason, Race?
To see if we can find any amphibian eggs.
Well, it was more than that. I was hoping to see wood frog. You're going to release him. Let's release him, please. Let's release him.
See you, little dude.
Okay. No. I'm trying to release him. You want to get him in a spot. Back under where he was, right there. You want to put him right in there. Put him there. There you go. In here so nobody steps on him. Race, can you explain to everybody what it was we did here? It was like magic. It was probably, about 4 or 5 years ago we brought Cub Scouts here?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
Oh my Lord. I remember it like yesterday.
I remember this place, but not that time.
We came down here with a bunch of Cub Scouts, and this place was loaded with spotted salamanders, and it was also loaded with wood frog eggs. Hence, this morning we heard the wood frogs active. I figured this place will be loaded. So we got two theories. There's not a sound here, nothing. As you can tell, this place is just completely quiet. That's where we're sitting next to right there. It's technically a vernal area. There's, without a doubt, there is amphibian activity here, but the wood frogs aren't calling. There's no wind. It's warm. We listened before we got here, so they didn't stop. Two theories. Number one, over time, everything changes. 3 or 4 years ago, maybe it was at a sweet spot and it was deep enough. But each year the leaf litter collects deeper and thicker and thicker. There's more and more leaf litter. Well, guess what? Maybe it's too shallow. Maybe they don't come here because they figure, gosh, everything's gonna die. Or maybe the last couple of years everything died because it was too shallow and the things didn't survive. That's one theory. The second is we're too early for this little pocket, even though we're only just a few miles away where we were in Guilford. We're here in Madison, and another little speck of the Cockaponset Forest. So, you can't, nothing is the same. There's no states. We were talking about rivers last time. Rivers are changing, especially with the impact that we're making on the planet. So when you have an experience like you did this morning where you can find a breeding population of anything other than bullfrogs and snapping turtles, it's extraordinary. You've got to stop, pay attention, try to figure it out. Hey, listen, we're back. Okay, this is one of these extraordinary realizations that I'm having, of course, with my good partner here. Somewhat reluctant, but however, he's going to take the camera. We're not driving right now. We just left an establishment that I typically do not go to, but now here we are. Twice in 4 episodes, we went to where, and we had to buy something that we thought was going to make our lives better. I just spent approximately $25 on things I'm going to throw out. I'm going to throw this stuff out.
That's the whole point, Dad.
Why? And then in addition to that, what did I spend on these? These things were like $14.
If you think about it, everything you buy is going to get thrown out.
So 20 some odd dollars for stuff that's just going to be thrown away. Expedition Earth, we're talking how ridiculous it is that I just spent $25 on stuff I'm gonna throw out. Why are we doing this? Like, this is a commitment. Like, I put it on my list. You know how many times I put stuff on my list and then I can't do it. I can't do it. It dawns on me. You're about to finally spend the money and you realize this is ridiculous. I'm spending money on things I'm going to throw out, and I was this close, but I gotta get it off the list.